Okay, it's recording now, and I'll share the screen. Okay, right, so this is number 13, and I've got the plan at the end for the next year, so let's have a look at that later as well. It's about money again. We've done one already on budgeting and accounting for money. This one is about raising funds, getting money from membership fees, applying for funding, getting sponsorship, fundraising events, and hopefully we can learn from the other teacher associations here. And the recorded version, please, if you're listening to the recording, please share your ideas as well, because the great thing about these teacher association meetings is that we can share things across the teacher associations across the country, and they're all relevant and they can be adapted. So let's have a look. First thing then is this money from teacher association membership. And I think this is very complex. Now, some teacher associations decide not to charge at all. Some charge what I would think is too much, maybe. Some charge too much and then nobody pays, so they have to start charging less. Some charge too little and the members would actually pay more, and the teacher association would have more from the more money from each person. So it's very, very fine balance, I think. We have to think about all these different things, like how much can you charge? What's the maximum that members can pay? Because you don't want to charge something that's too little, and you don't want to charge something that they won't pay. And how much does your teacher association need to function? So we need to do the maths with this to balance it out and say, right, we need £2,000, for example, a year. How are we going to get that? 2,000 divided by 2,000 members is £1 each. So it's about balancing it and seeing what you need. Yeah, so number 4 is how many paying members do you need to aim for to get all the money you need? And what's your plan to get all those members as well? It's very complicated, isn't it? And rather than just leaving it up to fate and thinking, oh, we don't know, maybe we'll have this, maybe we'll have this, I think you need some sort of plan to plan how many you need, how are you going to get them, how many members each, how much money, by when. Number 5, collecting and organising the payment, of course, very complex, or can be very complex. Bank accounts, online banking is so much easier now if you can do that. Online clicks to click to donate the money, to put the money into the account is better. It's got to be all noted down. It's got to be all with receipts. It's got to be all above board. It's got to be the teacher association's bank account as well. Number 6, you've got to link who's paid with what they've paid. So this is, I think we've mentioned this before, it's best done by a Google form, excuse me, a Google form with all the member information, and then that can go into a spreadsheet, and then the spreadsheet can include all the information, and you can add an extra column and put when they've paid and how much, because you need to keep a record of this, of course. And finally, number 7, you need to have an offer. And this offer is, what do they get for their membership fee? Nobody's going to pay anything at all, not even a very, very small amount of money, for nothing, because no teachers earn a huge amount of money. Teachers could always do with a lot more money. Nobody has any spare. Even if it's just $1 a year, for example, what are they going to get for that? So I think you need to make a list and have this maybe on your website if you've got one, have it on your Facebook page. You get, for this membership, you get this, 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 and this. And this could be, for example, a publication twice a year, webinars every 2 months, So the webinars and the publications are free. You don't need to pay any money. It's just the time and the expertise. Face-to-face conference, free conference maybe included in their membership. You need that offer. Okay, so that's the membership thing, which is really complicated. We'll compare membership fees in a minute. Actually, no, let's compare them now. How much is your membership, Malachi in Nyetsa? How much is yours, Abby Gizachu in Silpa? Are you charging for membership? How much is yours in Elton? Sally, Gloria, I think Gloria was here just now. How much are your membership fees?
Oh, in Nyetsa, our membership fee is 100 rands per
100
annum.
rands. Okay, that's not very much, is it? Do you know how much that is in dollars?
It's
difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it's difficult to convert it in dollars.
I think I looked it up, and I think it's not very much money, which is a good thing.
It's not very much.
No, but for that, you need to get loads and loads and loads and loads of members, don't you? Because if you only have a tiny membership fee, you're not going to get much money unless everybody joins. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on. This is about the balance, of course, and this is an example, and this is from South African Rand. So this is the budget balance, and you've got to balance the books with how much coming in and how much you need. So you've got to do the maths. For example, if they're paying 1,000 each, no, if they're paying 100 each, and there's only 100 members, you only get 1,000. If they're paying 100 each and you've got 5,000 members, you get 50,000. So this is the balance, isn't it? 500 each and 5,000 members, you get 2,500,000. So this maths is going to show you how much money you're going to get. And then you balance that about how much you need. So you need to have these budget plans. You need to have a conference. You need to fund that. You need to get all the equipment, the posters, the banners, for example. Maybe you need a Zoom Pro account, and you need to put all the necessities in one side and all the money coming in on the other. You might not get enough. So this is where we're going to look at all the other things. Oh, of course, there are funding projects that we can apply for. The next one is this one here. We can start looking at it next year, early next year. It's only £1,500. That's about $2,000. But anything is worth having, isn't it? So have a look at IATEFL projects. The link is there. And let's try and apply. Only one or two countries win this. It's not like Hornby, where lots of countries often win the funding, because IATEFL doesn't have much money for funding. But it's always given to a country with not much money. So it never goes to countries like, for example, I don't know, Japan, Taiwan, Germany, Argentina, because they've got more money. It has to be a country, for example, from sub-Saharan Africa. So you have more chance of doing this. It's got to be a good project, though. And what we found is with applications in the past is that people often don't read the instructions very carefully. If the word limit says you need 250 words to state what you're going to do, then you have to use that word limit. Because if you just put in 50 words, it's not going to be enough. They're expecting a lot more from you. Get other people to read your application. And of course, please use me. Send it to me. I'll give you feedback. I'll say exactly what I think. Other opportunities, of course. Sometimes you need to show this matched funding to show that somebody else believes in you and trusts your teacher association and is also contributing. And the bottom point, they are more likely to believe a project is possible on evidence of having successfully done something similar before. And if you have a visible presence, so a teacher association website showing all your successes is going to impress them. And this is really, really good for applying for other funding projects. So I'm hoping maybe over the break of the end of the year, if you get a holiday, I'm hoping that some of your teacher associations are going to be working on your websites. And I'm happy to help and give feedback on them when you've got them going, when you've found somebody to start working on them for you. Okay, so all of those things work together. Things like the evidence, the past events, the past organization all works together by impressing other people to give you more funding. Okay, so put that in your diaries and have a look at the link for that one. Of course, we have other ones as well. You've got Hornby. I don't think anyone's heard from the Hornby application yet. Hopefully we'll hear very soon because I know they've been discussing them. There's also the Roger Bowers teacher participation grants that if it's the same as last year, it'll be advertised in April. You need to look up these, put them in your diaries and apply and not miss them every year. There's also the Prelim. I know Elton Kennedy, you're part of the Prelim project, aren't you? And I know they give money for, this time it was creating materials, which is a great thing to be part of. Depends on what they're working on. Okay, apart from all that, when people very, very kindly give you money, this is getting less, of course. There are fewer organisations prepared to give you money for nothing. I think the British Council is cutting their money and it has to be very, very carefully allocated. And we still get some direct grant funding as well. What about this then? Getting sponsorship for specific events or sponsorship for specific items. Now, I know we've mentioned this before, but I think you can approach lots of local companies who have something to do with teaching or English to help you. They have to get something in return. So it could very well be advertising. So if it's a bank, for example, a phone company, a publisher, you could ask them if it's possible for them to pay for the venue or pay for the speakers fees or transport cost of the speakers or accommodation. See how much, you've got to have a conversation and see how much they would be happy to donate. They could just, for example, if it's a small amount of money, sponsor the coffee break, for example, or the lunch, or just provide a pack of pens or notepads. Or they could donate prizes for competitions. For example, a technology company could donate an iPad, for example, which would be wonderful motivation for teachers. They could give you internet data for phones if they're a phone company, or bags, or anything like that. And anything you get is good, isn't it? Because it contributes to the event and the success of the event. And they need to get something in return. For example, promotion, advertising. If they have their bank's name on the pens and the bags, that's the advertising, what they're getting in return. You could put their names on the conference booklet. You could promise to advertise in Facebook, for example. But it's really, really good idea to consider going around well in advance. It has to be, I would think, 6 months in advance of your conference, asking all these things. Best thing, I think, is to get a contact. If you've got a nephew, a cousin, a neighbour, somebody who works in one of these companies, ask for the best person to contact or go in there, get them to introduce you, however you need to do it in your context and culture. So it's a good idea to match the objectives of the business you're approaching with the objectives of your project. For example, we were doing an event, I was helping with an event in Guinea-Bissau, and it was all about inequality for girls. And we approached lots of menstruation products companies in the UK to ask them if they'd like to sponsor it. And one of them did. So these are huge international companies, some of which have to do a lot of charity work, and they offset that against the tax they pay. So they're actually actively looking for things like this to donate or send. For example, if you're doing trees, providing trees to plant in schools, you could ask a gardening company to provide them with a plaque advertising the company, if it's maybe a green event. Or maybe a paper or book company, get them to give you some materials, resources for a project training volunteer teachers in a refugee camp, for example. The companies love the photo evidence. They put it in their promotion, they advertise that, they get more work because of it. So they are using you in a way, and you are benefiting from them. So be creative in this with international companies and national companies and local companies. There are so many international companies. There are pens for kids who send pens to countries all over Africa. You just have to go and ask them. That's Pens for Kids. There are lots of companies that sponsor, for example, toiletry products in lots of different countries. Have a look online. And the tips then, yeah, what you do have to do though is be prepared to share your budget and plans with them, because if they are contributing money, then you have to involve them in it. Share the feedback with them as well. Maintain the contact, send them photos, send them feedback. They need to be involved and feel they're involved. Promote them, thank them. You've got to do all this, haven't you? Or they'll never help you again. And develop positive relationships. And often people can get these sponsors, funders that they always contribute. For example, with the IATEFL conference, there are funders who always contribute every year, mainly the publishers, for example. Okay. And now, what about fundraising? Fundraising is a strange thing because in some cultures, it's completely, totally acceptable. In some cultures, it's really weird and unheard of. Friends of mine in England, everybody's always asking for money. For example, a friend of mine did a walk across Cuba for 10 days and asked for money to help her do this walk. And other friends of mine who don't live in the country were shocked at this, and they said, why would you give her money to go on holiday? But again, for her, she was doing something interesting and asking people to contribute to her learning experience walking across Cuba. I know when I was living in Brazil, I wanted to get involved with some charity and fundraising work, and everyone there, they thought I must be very rich because I was going to get involved in charity work and fundraising, because most of the people there who are involved in charities are just the rich people who want something to do with their money. The culture of fundraising in the UK is a huge thing, and all people on their Facebook page, at work, people are always asking for money for good causes. And it doesn't mean we're rich. It doesn't mean we have too much money. It's just part of our culture, and it works because people like contributing to other people's projects and then they contribute back. So there are many, many, many ways of raising money. Let's see which is best for your teacher association. There's a lovely link here, easy fundraising. And let me just click on this to see if we can have a look. Okay, I don't think you can see that, so I will come out of it and go back into it. Right, back into this now. I think, can you see it? Yes, I think you can see this now. Yeah, this is 130 fundraising ideas. Okay, so you don't need more than 130. We're going to have a look at some of these in more detail. But there's lots of help online to raise money for your cause. Now, of course, your cause is your teacher association. And there are educational ones, religious ones, individual challenges. You see, this is a huge business. sports groups, animal wildlife, after school groups, workplaces, all of these different things. And people have to be more and more and more creative because people are having less and less spare money nowadays. Okay, so these are school budget ideas. PTA is Parent Teacher Association. You may think that schools in England have everything and are very well funded, but no, the parents have to contribute. The school is run down often, and they have to raise money by volunteering and fundraising to actually help the school, because budgets in schools are being cut all the time here. So, for example, they do things like a school non-uniform day. So all the children have to pay maybe 50p to be able to wear their normal clothes for a day if they have uniforms. Or they can wear a Christmas jumper, for example, fancy dress. The bring and buy sale, everybody has to bring something from home, something they don't want anymore, good condition, book, toy, clothes, and then they sell it. And then all the money goes to the school. A World Book Day. This is a lovely idea, when everyone dresses up in a costume from a book and have to pay a little bit of money. There are so many of these fundraising ideas. Tombola, beat the goalie, a football little competition, guess the number of sweets in a jar. This is what I remember from when I was a child. They have a big jar with sweets in it, and you have a big list of numbers that you're guessing, and you pay maybe 50p, half a dollar, for example, to guess, and the winner wins the whole thing of sweets. Very, very simple ideas, but very effective. And if you have lots of these things together, you can actually raise a lot of money. Face painting. Okay, we're not going to go through all of these. Okay, so let's go back to our PowerPoint. Okay, that's that link. Please have a look at that link, because it's got some brilliant, brilliant, brilliant ideas on it. 130, as you saw. As we discussed, you have to be creative, and you have to be more and more creative. You have to plan ahead. You can't do these. If you've got a conference next month, you can't think, oh, we need to raise money now. It's going to take a long time, maybe 6 months, maybe a year. You need to vary your fundraising ideas, because people will get bored of the same thing. Even if you do the most exciting Christmas jumper event, then if it's the same every year, people won't get so enthusiastic about it. And you need to get the right people involved. Get people involved who are keen on that area. For example, if you're doing a football fundraiser, get the people who like the football most involved. It doesn't make sense to have people who don't like football involved in that one, does it? Okay, I'd like to tell you just a few minutes about my charity. I started up this charity foundation 4 or 5 years ago, and it's called Action Guinea-Bissau, my website there. I started it up with a few people because I went to Guinea-Bissau, saw how desperately in need all the people were, and I went there to train teachers first of all, but I saw that there were a lot more needs than actually training teachers, like basic food, growing their food, schools all falling to pieces, no equipment, nothing. So we started this charity. And to get the money for this charity, there's no funding that I can apply for. No British council gives me money for my charity because they don't help in Guinea-Bissau for some reason. So we've done all these things, and we've raised over the years, I don't know, something like £50,000, which is a huge amount of money. These are some of the ideas. I ran a marathon, and so did my daughter. That was a huge amount of work, but all my friends sponsored me to motivate me to actually do it. My daughter organised a wonderful day party, and she got all her friends involved, cooking with games, and that raised a lot of money as well. A raffle. We got lots of prizes donated from lots of different shops and organisations. We had some really good prizes like iPads, and we sold the raffle for 3 months online beforehand and made a huge amount of money out of that. We've raised money by experts donating services like repairing laptops for free, and then the people make a contribution to the charity. Translation for free, gardening for free. So if you can do something, you donate those services, for example, half a day a week or on one particular day, and all the profit goes to the charity. We've done plant sales, cake sales, a quiz, a Google form quiz with prizes as well. And we've done this merchandise idea, selling products with a logo on, water bottles, bags, didn't make much profit out of them. And we've had some agreements with small companies to promote their products, and then 10% goes to the charity. So we're always on the lookout for more and more fundraising ideas. It's nice to have had that experience, though, to see how it works. And on the Future Leaders of Elters course, which I know some of you, I know Sally is on, and I know people from each of your teacher associations has been, and Malachi as well, of course. We had a task. The task between the 2 week sessions was to plan, and Fozia as well. I saw Fozia here as well. The plan was to plan how to raise £1,000 for your teacher association. You had to research the fundraising options and produce a brief 10-point plan with some stages, dates, names, and present it to the group. Let's have a look at some of the ideas. And the ideas were brilliant. So we have 9 different types of ideas. I'm hoping you're getting some good ideas for your teacher association as we're going through. Crowdfunding. Yeah, you can do this online and people just give you money if you're lucky, if you get the right people. If you put it in the right way, that it doesn't look as if you're just asking for money, if there's something back for them, for example. Lots of music bands do crowdfunding to record their next album, for example, and they give a free ticket to a concert for people who donate money. So you're getting something back. What about free membership of the teacher association for a donation of a certain amount? Up to you. Number 2, some sort of event. And we had a lovely football tournament from Atis in Senegal, which I think raised a lot of money. And everybody really enjoyed it. That's the best type of fundraiser, if you all enjoy it too. A dinner. How much would people pay to go? You have those big charity fundraising events in London, for example, with celebrities going there, and they all pay a huge amount of money for it. A cultural event, gardening, sales. The good thing about gardening and farming is that things grow for free, don't they? All they need is sun and rain, and it just needs time. So if you're growing plants, for example, that's a wonderful example of growing it for free, selling it to get some money. Merchandise, number 3. Yeah, t-shirt with logo on, caps, scarves, notebooks, pens, mugs, calendars, anything else you think people might need. Calendars are good because you can make them online, and you can do them with visuals, for example, with a template and just print them off. A sponsored event like my marathon. It could be a sponsored run, a sponsored walk, a sponsored swim, and people will pay per mile or per day if you get the right people and if you explain to them. Or some sort of sponsored event where, for example, you say, I won't eat any meat for 6 months. Will you sponsor me? So you're suffering a little bit. Or I won't drink any alcohol for 6 months. I know lots of you don't drink any alcohol anyway. It's got to be something that you are giving up, something that people will help you and contribute to. I don't know if those things work so well in cultures other than the UK, but they work very well here. Raffle, number 5. Now, everyone can buy tickets. If you can do it online, it's better. You have to have a record of everybody's numbers. But also you need to have a few nice donated prizes that you can win. For example, if you had a laptop from your Department of Education, that would be a brilliant prize, wouldn't it? And people would probably buy lots of tickets for it. You have to balance that though. Don't spend money on the prizes that you haven't got from the raffle yet. Advertising, yes, selling advertising, maybe of politicians, I don't know, local businesses, private services. You can get money from links with schools and universities and other NGOs. Secondhand fare, books or clothes, everybody bringing in what they have, okay? And maybe a volunteer day, as we mentioned before. Maybe you're mending the clothes or mending the shoes. Maybe you're mending the bike or doing car maintenance, bike maintenance, all these things that people would pay good money for, and you're donating just for one day to this good cause of your teacher association. Loads of ideas. I think it depends on the context. It depends on cultural considerations and what is acceptable in your context. You're never going to get money for something if people think, oh no, oh, they're going to take my money, I don't believe in it. It's got to be something which has been shown to work, and maybe talk about it first in a WhatsApp group, maybe give some examples to get people around to the idea. B, you have to think about what people will get back for their contribution. It's very rare to get people who give money for nothing, so you need to see what they're going to get out of it. You need to think about planning and balancing the money coming in and the money coming out. I think it's important, D, to try out something on a small scale before doing it on a bigger scale. If you're planning a big raffle, for example, raffle a dictionary first. See how many people will buy the ticket. Because if you're going to take money out to buy a computer, you don't want to take the money out that you haven't got. Research what works in other contexts, and this is the point of this group now, to learn from each other and help each other see what works. So I would like, Malachi, are you there? I would like you to talk through this NYETSA funding budget strategy. I've got 2 slides here with 6 points. Malachi, are you available? You're on mute, Malachi. Maybe he's gone to sleep, because I know he's been working for 12 hours today already. Okay, so let's have a little look while before Malachi is coming to tell us. Malachi and Sydney are both working with the budgets in NYETSA, South Africa. Their plan is, oh, Malachi, you're here now, yeah?
Hi, good evening.
Hiya. Would you like to talk us through your plan?
I think you can just go through it, because I'm having some network glitch where I am here.
Okay, fine. I'll just go through it. So thank you. If people have questions afterwards, they can ask you, or maybe in the WhatsApp group. Yeah?
Yes, I'll talk to them in the WhatsApp group.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so as you see, Malachi's first one is the new membership recruitment, and they've got the how much, and they've got a plan for the direct mail campaign. This number 2 is interesting. Each executive member recruits 5 new members. And this is quite nice, this cascading effect. So you have to, each person go into a school, contact other people, and this responsibility of everybody getting a number of people. Training workshops, if you're doing live events, people are much more likely to join. Renewals of membership, point 2. Yeah, and of course you have to remind members of this. Special events. So they are planning on holding a raffle and selling t-shirts and other regalia, merchandise. So this is 50 Rand a ticket. I'm not sure how much that is in dollars or pounds. That's not very much, I don't think. And I was asking Malachi about the prizes. And I really think you need good prizes to attract lots of people to buy the tickets here. Yeah, and that's in the final column, they've got how much. So maybe 3,500. How many tickets would that be? You need to work that out. How much profit would you make from the t-shirts? How much would people buy them for? How many people are going to buy them? What you don't want is to spend lots of money on ordering lots of t-shirts, spending all your association money and not selling them all. So you need, again, to do this on a small scale first to see if they will actually be bought and how much profit you will make. On the second slide here, we've got the major donors. And this is interesting because in South Africa, apparently the mining companies like donating money to associations. I'm not sure if you want mining money from mining fuel. If people are really interested in green energy and making things sustainable, I don't know if they would be happy with mining companies donating to the Teacher Association, but that's, of course, up to you. Money from there is probably better than money from nowhere. Researching the names, scheduling personal visits, writing personal letters. Okay, that will be great. 2 campaigns. Businesses as well, number 5. Cell phone service providers and banks, yeah, from the suggestion. So this is trying to get the members and volunteers to go around and ask if they can donate anything. And then other foundations. So this would be other groups, charities, mail out proposals, a list of the foundations, and follow up. Okay, so I tend to think that personal visits are probably more effective because they can see how interesting you are and they probably get lots and lots of requests for money. I know companies in the UK, they get so many requests for money, they just put them all in the bin unless they happen to meet somebody, talk to them and have some sort of personal link with that person. So great plan here. And this is the sort of plan we need for the fundraising. And I really hope Malachi will update us on that to see how many of these things work and how many don't, and how the budget actually works out afterwards. And if you've got any questions, you can ask Malachi in the WhatsApp group. Okay, that's the end of today's, and I'd like us to compare in a minute. But before we do that, the plan for next year. So my contract working with all of your teacher associations is ending at the end of March. And this is the plan for the rest of the sessions. After talking to you at the end of last one, we've planned these. We've got the dates there, 2 in January, 2 in February, and 2 in March. We talked a little bit about the topics, and I think this is what suited most of you. If you've got anything else you'd like to be covered, please tell me and we can fit them in to some of these plans. I'll post this in the group as well. Okay, so we've got some time left now. Have you got any questions? Have you got any funding plans? Have you got any sponsorship plans? What would you like to say? Would anybody like to say anything now? So we have Elton, Nigeria, Sally and Kennedy. We have Manal, from Sudan, Elder. She's disappeared. I know the connection's not very good. And we have Malachi from Nyetsa, and we have Gizatu, Abebe, Teshala, and Abi from Silpa in Ethiopia, and Abel from Elton as well. Elton and Silpa, any questions or any fundraising plans? Kennedy.
Hello.
Yes, Kennedy, what would you like to say?
Yeah, I think we'll be having a meeting tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be having a meeting on our part, and we hope that maybe some of these things we'll also discuss and cascade in our executive meeting.
Great. Which points do you think will go down best in Nigeria?
Hello?
Because I know the different cultures, different things appeal to different people. Which of these ideas do you think will be most successful in Nigeria?
For me personally, I might not be able to say now. Maybe I will have to discuss with the executive, and then we'll brainstorm over them. I think having a holistic idea will be better, because sometimes with the changing nature of our society, it might just be impossible, because even if you're looking at some company sponsorship, that might work in some places and it might not work. To gain. And I think all that we'll consider, then based on the different opinions, we'll be able to harness and have a common front to pursue next year.
Yeah, great. Because something might work in, for example, in Nigeria, in the cities, one plan might work, and in the rural areas, something else. Because you don't have the same culture, obviously, in each area, in each region. So I think you've got to be flexible and adaptable as well.
Yes.
I think, Sally, I think you had your hand up. Did you have anything to say?
Yeah, I wanted to say selling t-shirts and caps would work in our context.
T-shirts, yeah. Do you think teachers would buy t-shirts with Eltan and the logo on them, for example?
Yes, if it's a beautiful t-shirt and it's not too expensive, they'll buy.
Okay. So what you need to do is to research how much those t-shirts will cost, because when you're buying the t-shirts, the more you buy at once, the less they're going to be each. But how many do you want to invest in before you know whether teachers are going to buy them? Because what you don't want is thousands or hundreds of t-shirts on your hands and nobody buying them. Yeah. Maybe something like a quotation across the front, a very inspiring quotation would be quite a nice thing to have on a t-shirt. I don't know. You're going to have to plan that, aren't you? Abel, yes.
Yes. Good evening, everyone.
Hiya.
Thank you so much for your time with us. Just to buttress the point Sally was trying to make, I remember recently she posted an AI generated t-shirt of Eltan, and many people looked at it and they were really excited about it. So maybe that could try just for all the people. There's a way to test if people would like it or not.
Yeah, excellent. And it's a really good idea to discuss. Discuss this sort of thing in WhatsApp group and discuss on Facebook as well.
That's what I just wanted to chip in there. So if you have that, it's visual, people can see it and they can see themselves in it, and then they can now place their orders before you go ahead to print. So you don't have wastages. Yes.
Excellent. Yes, because what you really do not want, and I don't want you to get into trouble by investing money and then assuming people will buy if they don't. Yeah, so doing it online, doing AI generated stuff is an excellent idea. Any ideas from Silpa in Ethiopia? Abebe, Teshala, in Gizachu? Abi, yes?
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Hiya.
Thank you, Linda. Here in Ethiopia, most, assessment is, result which students' reading achievement is getting poorer and poorer. So in SELPA, we are planning
Sorry, Abby, your voice is breaking up a bit. I don't know if the connection's unstable. Could you say that again, please? Hello, Abby?
Yeah, I think the
Yeah, the
Can you hear me
connection
now?
is not very good.
Hello, hello.
Hello? Try again.
All right. Can you hear me now?
No, not very well.
So, Abi, yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Oh, you
Can
can
hear you.
hear.
I don't-
Okay, so it's
All
me. It's
right.
my problem, not yours. Carry on, please. Abby,
All right.
continue.
So, yeah, SELPA in SELPA we are planning to run a school-based project through which just we help primary school teachers to provide quality early grade reading instruction for children. So what we are planning here is, to have a kind of low-cost project where SELPA members pledge to volunteer, just to go to at least 2 primary schools around and just train, coach, mentor, and follow up the teachers. And we have
How will
also
you
a
raise
plan
money from these, Abby? How will you raise money?
some funding from
Hello? What about raising money? How will you raise money from that project? Sorry, it cut out a bit for me.
from international organizations some amount of money so that we can implement our project. But we need small amount of money for the project because most of the workers will be done at voluntary basis. Our SELPA members are, pleased to volunteer, and they will go to 2 primary schools around, and they provide trainings for teachers, and they mentor, they coach and follow up, on continuous basis. But we need the money simply for stationery and some other purposes. But we don't need much money for the project. It's a low cost project, which will be accomplished on voluntary basis. Yeah, we haven't yet finalized it, but we are just have the intention to
I
do
can see
that.
how that
We are
project will
working on
work
it.
by using volunteers, but how will you get money from it? Because this is a project that you need money for. What we're talking about this evening is getting money in order to do these projects. So how will you get the money for it?
Yeah, we will ask for sponsorship.
From who?
We have a plan just to do that. Some international organizations who are working on child education.
Great.
And also some, local, NGOs.
Great.
And
And do they often give money? Like in Hawassa, do they give money for projects like that?
Sure.
Great.
Yeah.
You're lucky.
Yes.
Great. Brilliant.
We hope that they will provide us some amount of money because we don't need much money just to implement this project.
Okay.
Most of the workers will be done by SELPA members.
Yeah, and this is good because if you can show that everyone is giving a lot of time, their own expertise, and the people are not making money out of it, you're more likely to get sponsorship, I think.
Yes.
Great.
We hope, yeah.
Gizachu, you have your hand up. What would you like to say? Gizachu, can you unmute?
I just wanted to add a couple of points on what Dr. Abi said regarding our plans, our sales plans to raise money. So one of the things that we hope and we're planning to do to raise funding for our association is working with partners. We're already working with partners like British Council. We also have plans to approach the regional, RELO, the regional English language office here based in Addis.
This is the American Embassy one, is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the American version of the British Council, you may characterize it like that. So they usually give some funding based on ideas, projects that you, come up with, and if they are interested in that idea, they give funding. For example, they have funded ELPA frequently on several occasions before. So that's one source. We are also working with governmental partners, including Hawassa University, where we work. They provide us logistical support. For example, we're planning when we get the next publication newsletter for our association, we are going to ask them to support us with publishing, printing the newsletter, and then so in a sense, it will be subsidized by the university, as well as we have also asked the British Council to print a few copies, maybe 100 or 150, I don't know. So we're going to sell that for our members for some amount of money, and that will help us raise some money. So if we can sell, for example, 100 copies once every 4 months or something, depending on, we're not, still yet there with our second publication as source. So,
great. That's a great idea.
Who presented from, I think, from Nigeria. Is it from Nigeria? The one that you shared with us. The plans that you presented.
Malachi from Nyasa, South Africa.
We're going to discuss. Yeah, which one of them are going to work in our context with our executive committee member? I'm sure there are many of them that we can use in our context also in Ethiopia. So we'll consider those options, and so we have lots of different actually options for fundraising, and I found today's session very informative, very enlightening in that sense. Thank you so much.
Great, that's great. I know you're talking about the British Council and the RELO money. Now that money is the easiest money you could possibly get, I think, because British Council and the RELO, they all have a lot of interest, of course, in training, developing teachers, building up teacher associations. And that is easy money because they give it to you and all you have to do is provide reports and things afterwards. Okay, but this, what we're talking about today is other things and becoming more independent. Just one final thing, I think. El Haj from Attis, you haven't spoken yet. I know you've had loads of things going on in Attis, and you've had your conference this weekend. How did the conference go?
Yeah, it was great, really. It was great. We had yesterday.
Good.
And then it was an excellent event, right?
Tell us a little bit about fundraising in Attis.
Yeah, thank you very much. So for Attis, billing them to colleagues, and then most of the time the amount was 3,000. But at the end, we realized that it was not really very efficient. So now we are implementing another procedure. So we are asking now colleagues, all English teachers who are volunteered, to contribute for 1,000 French CFA each month from their salary. And then that month is really cut off from the financial ministry. And we launched that project in May 2023. We're in a seminar, in our national seminar in Salwe. So there we collected 53 volunteers. So now at any event that Attis organize, we really take the profit to ask the colleagues in order to contribute. And so far, we are around 200 teachers who are contributing, okay, for 1,000 French CFA per month. And that money is cut from the financial, okay, minister, okay? So then that money is directly, okay, in our account. So then now our objective is to get 5,000, because in Senegal, when we counted the number of teachers, okay, approximately we are 6,600. So then we want to reach at least 5,000 teachers. So if you have 5,000 teachers, it means that each month we're going to have 5 million. So then if we can have all the teachers enrolled, that would be great. This is what we're doing. So there is another project we are now planning, and thank you for your presentation. This is really, okay, it gives us a more insight. This is events, financial events. So we wanted to organize what they call the Teachers Night Award. If you have it, so we're going to, okay, have some partners, some sponsors like TVs, etc. So they may come and cover the events, so then we're going to exchange. These are the 3 things that in Senegal ACTES we are planning to do. First, we started with the t-shirt, but we realized that it was not very efficient. Now we are doing what they call here in Senegal checkoff. So the money is cut from the financial minister, and now we are about 200 teachers who are contributing. So then the next event that we are planning is the Teachers Night Award. Okay, so we will, okay, really call on sponsors for different companies or even TVs. Thank you so much.
That's great. And I know from Tijan and Racine, they've done a football tournament, haven't they, in ATTIS as well? So I think there's a lot of enthusiasm in ATTIS to do a lot of things. Maybe like most people, we're all busy and there's not so much time, but if you have that enthusiasm and you find something that goes well in your context. And since the last training, El Haj, I've been working with Izaka, and we've produced all the publications on those materials from last year. So all of those things working together, I think we can make all the teacher associations better. I think we need to end now. I think, of course, we can continue the conversation in the WhatsApp group. Yes, Malachi is saying we'll share more in due course. Great. Thank you, Malachi. I think if you have anything to share or any questions, ask in the WhatsApp group. Yeah, because if we can get discussions going there, and we can use that WhatsApp group to compare what you're doing, compare successes and ideas. I will post the recording, I'll post the slides, and of course, any questions that you have, please ask. And please share it with other people in your teacher association if you need to. Is that okay? So I will stop recording now, and